investimento anjo, de investimento em tecnologia especializada,
empreendedor em arte, investidor mão na massa, economia do cenário do investimento anjo no Brasil. People2Biz.
Olá, tudo bem? Você deve estar se perguntando, ué, cadê o Luiz Cláudio? Deve ter apertado o play no podcast errado. Fica tranquilo que esse aqui é sim People2Biz Pessoas e Negócios. Meu nome é Marcelo Argrives, eu sou head de conteúdo e também de operação da People2Biz, trabalho com o Luiz. Ele não pôde estar aqui em São Paulo para gravar essa entrevista, mas a gente não podia perder a oportunidade de conversar com o convidado de hoje. Miguel Angel Ruz Alvarez, ele é sócio e também General Manager para a América Latina da Decision Point. Hoje nós vamos fazer uma conversa sobre crescimento de empresa, sobre analytics, sobre machine learning, claro, sobre a grande vedete do momento, a inteligência artificial. Com vocês, Miguel Alvarez. Thanks for having us today to share a little bit of your executive experience and views on business and leadership. Okay? Usually we start our conversation asking our guests to tell us about your executive's journey up to the point you are now. You graduated in engineering from Pontifícia Universidade Católica in Chile, and did an MBA in Minnesota at the Carlson School of Business.
Right.
Then you worked for big corporations like Coca Cola and 3M on a local, regional, and global levels on at least 4 continents. Wow, this is amazing. Tell us a bit your professional journey. It's like a professional pitch, but not elevator pitch. You can take a little bit longer.
Yeah. I have to say that I was fortunate enough, to have an amazing corporate career. Working for these large corporations in different roles, commercial areas, marketing areas, general management, and so forth. And why across the globe? Because I always wanted, since I was a little kid, my goal always was get to know and flavor the world, but not from a tourist perspective, but actually living, in those countries. So, I was fortunate. My family, my 3 daughters, they grew up. They were born in the States, 2 of them. I have 3 daughters. Went to school all over the place. There are the 3 of them professionals right now, but it was an amazing journey for a family of 5. And why I end up on this? Why I end up in analytics, which is what I'm doing today? I always struggle, working for large corporation on the amount of data that we have and how little could be done, with the data. Beyond that, many times we were in a leadership team meetings, and here comes the finance guy coming with a KPI with 1 number, and the guy from marketing, coming with for the same KPI with a different number. So metrics is always, it was something that always, called my attention. So when I decided to leave the corporate world back in 2016, I was head of commercial for Coca Cola for Southeast Asia. I decided to move back to Chile. It was time. Kids were already getting into university and so forth, so it was the right time to get back home. And started with a company. Actually, I bought a small consulting company to a friend, which was in the business of measurements of experience, internal client experience, external client experience. It was a good start. Then I started looking all over the place in the States, in Europe, some large corporation, until I got with Decision Point, which was a young company, but at the time I was head of Coca Cola for Southwest Asia. And I met this two guys that were just not recently graduated from college, but only with 2-3 years experience, and they decide, to adventure and start a company into analytics. And we joined effort back in 2019, and since then, so we've been flying all over the place with a great success, especially in Latin America.
And you said you were working in Southeast Asia, right? And how did it end up in India? Because, as I've told, Decision Point started in India.
Yeah, it started in India back in 2012.
Oh, 12.
Working at that time, basically business intelligence, I would say, rather than analytics. We really got serious into analytics in 2015, 2016, and as I said, when I was looking for partners to expand and have a clear vision of what needed to be done, they came to my mind. We connected. Went over there. One of my partners came over to Chile, and we basically decided let's start this adventure together, which was mid 2019. And as I said, we decided to start it in Chile, basically because Chile offered at that opportunity at that time. A lot of taxation opportunities. Chile has double treaties with most country in the world, India included. So our first stage was Chile in Latam. Then back in 2021, after pandemia, it was the time for Mexico. So we opened up our offices in Mexico, and now we are in the third stage. We are mature enough in Latin America to move over Brazil. We know that Brazil is a different continent within a continent. And as I said, we have enough talent within the organization. We have learned on analytics and big data. We've been quite successful with large multinational companies. We're expanding into large regional companies like Softis, like Gloria, or like Sigma. Bimbo is not a regional client anymore. Bimbo is a large multinational company, but enough experience and enough talent is in place in order to embrace the challenge of Brazil. So I've been a very busy week, including a visit to the food and beverages fair that is going on during this week in São Paulo. Got to start talking with some potential clients. I see the potential of this country. I mean, it is humongous. It's a really a brilliant future what I see in Brazil, to start investing in local talent. Always merging, with our talent in India, rest of Latin America. Whatever project that we embrace, we include talent from every place we're in. So it doesn't matter if we're working for a client in Spain. We have talent from Mexico, from Chile, from India. Same thing with Brazil. As we build talent here in Brazil, that talent will embrace a project not only for Brazil, but also for the rest of the world.
I'd like to understand a little bit better, what exactly does Decision Point do?
What is what we do? It's like taking the data from our clients, you name it, transactional data, like invoicing, sell-in, sell-out. From a commercial perspective, many of the FMCG and retail companies, they do retail audits, to understand market share. Many of them run into whole panels to understand, patterns of purchase and consumptions at a home level. We take that data, and with all of that data, we start working and figuring out first to generate some insight, actionable insight, but most importantly, we build predictive models in areas like promotion, for example. And by predictive, what I mean is learn enough on the past, build algorithm, machine learning algorithms that can help our clients, to take better decisions. How? By simulating, by asking what if, and understanding the impact of decisions in terms of volume, profit, market share, and so forth, and in different areas in the commercial spectrum, pricing, elasticities, cross elasticities, segmentations, but segmentation at a shopper level, but also at the client level, and merging both together and truly coming with segmentations that are speaking from a shopper behavior rather than the traditional segmentation, which is in the way the companies they decide, okay, I'm going to segment within rich clients, poor clients, or shoppers or whatsoever, or demographics. When you build segmentation based on actual performance, you come with different sort of insights that can help you to take much better decisions in terms of not only benefit for the organization but also for your clients. So in a sense, what we do is help our clients to drive the business looking forward rather than looking, into the back mirror, because the usual analytics or analysis has been based on past behavior. What we're using is understanding past, to predict and look into the future for better decisions. With, as I said, machine learning models, most of them.
Mm-hmm. And revenue growth management was something that is started more heavily after the pandemic, because the clients, the consumer trends changed unexpectedly one day to the other. And in your view, what are the main pillars for this strategy to go right? It seems to me that it has all to do with big and good data.
There are companies like Coca Cola. Coca Cola has been doing revenue growth management from mid-2000. It's been around for a while. The usual definition of revenue was around pricing. It goes far beyond that. Pricing is just one of the levers. On RGM, we talk about price architecture, price package. What is the right package for the right occasion, for the right shopper? We talk about assortment for different point of sale. We talk about promotions. We talk about trade terms. In a way, RGM is a brand new discipline, as you rightly said, because when organizations start facing a tremendous shift and change in shopper behavior, when pricing, was not the only lever that you could, there is up to certain level in where you can manage pricing. After that, you can't go beyond that. Mm-hmm. So yes, there is a growing interest from the companies in RGM. Many companies and organizations are building RGM departments. My only advice for them is RGM is not about a department, it's not about a function. RGM is a cross-functional. You touch all aspects of the organization when you're talking about RGM. And you are right as well when you said the impact of data. What is happening is that the best allied that REM has is data. And with current technology and advancement in languages to processing data, with the new structures in data lake and so forth, it has become tremendous what you can do in terms of REM, generating insight for decision making, and that's the beauty. And now, if you add to that generative AI, generative artificial intelligence, what is happening is, whenever we are facing digital transformation, for those companies that are coming from the physical world, which is most of FMCs, change, it's an obstacle. And by change, what I mean, change management. When we add generative AI as part of the solution, what is happening is that we increase exponentially user adoption, so that digital transformation across organization becomes smoother, easier, and faster.
And you said Coca Cola started using this mid 20.
Mid 2000, yeah,
2000.
2005, 2006. I had my first workshop on REM with Coke. At that time, I was working for Coca Cola.
Coca Cola. And what level of maturity you see Latin America in this term? Because you say we have more 15 years ago since you had been in touch with this in Coca Cola. But in Latin America, in terms of implementing AI solutions, how can we effectively generate value and a return of investment that makes sense?
Let me answer with three perspectives. What is the stage of REM within Latin America? Recently, through a U.S. organization called Promo Optimization Institute, that has been around for like 15, 20 years. We incentive them somehow to do their first measurement on the stage and status of REM across a Latin American company. It was the first measurement, and surprisingly, we were not that far from what you see in the state, or from what you see in Europe. Yes, we are in early stages from an REM perspective. Some companies are really, really way ahead of the rest. I cannot mention them, but they have a few clients that they're even better in terms of what you can see the average in the States or Europe. Then the second component is how mature is the digital transformation across LATAM. I would say that there we're a little bit behind, and that is a great opportunity, for the first ones that get into it. The talent is in place. I see it with the young talent that we've been recruiting for the last 3-4 years. I mean, brilliant guys in every country that we've been working with, or that we're working with. Mid-management maybe is the one that needs a little bit more of exposure to what digital transformation can do for the organizations. Organizations are struggling with data. The usual obstacle in a way is not having the proper data. And I always tell the clients, it doesn't really matter. We need to start, and you need to start at some point. We do magic. Our data engineers do magic in terms of bringing different source of data, harmonizing the data, standardizing the data, which is the basic, to start doing anything. But even if it isn't a small portion, it is a starting point. And this is not data science. I mean, this is not science or pure science. This is business, and whatever you do in business that increase your bottom line or your top line by making better decisions based on insight generated by data, I mean, that's more than enough. Digital transformation is a journey in which it's a never-ending journey. You need to start at some point, and don't wait to have the perfect data. Don't wait to have the perfect people within your organization. Just start, and you start with little, small, quick wins with no much investment. Show yourself and to your organization the value of decisions based on data, and then becomes a magic snowball in terms of how it really expanded across the organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was curious because, besides the language, of course, in terms of Latin America, Brazil has some particularities. I mean,
Brazil is Brazil.
Yeah, we have a lot of connected people. We shop a lot online. We have a very mature and digitalized financial sector. But in terms of data and decision making based on forecasts, Brazil is not very good at.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We have had some experience with Brazilian clients. Most of our clients are global clients, so if we're doing something for Mexico or for Chile or Argentina, we end up doing something for Brazil as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right on. It's always a challenge, Brazil. It has been a challenge. It is in there, though. It's not that it's not in there. The data is in there. It's.
But they're not connected.
Right. And there is where you need help, because there is expertise in where, you can really start bringing, pieces together and adding up. And as I said, start standardizing something. And that's a good starting point. I was with a client today. I'm telling them, hey, you don't need a tool for tomorrow. Well, it starts for the basic, and the basic is let's put in together some basic data that is around. Mm-hmm. Let's generate some insights based on that data. Let's play with the data a little bit. I always said it's like putting the data in a mixer, and out of that mixer, always comes some really good insight for decision making. It is in place. Data is in place. Global tracking companies like Kantar, like Nielsen's, they also operate here. Scantrack is in place. There is in Rio Grande do Sul, there is this company that has been providing digital solution for the small varejos. So small varejos, they're digitizing themselves, and that technology allows you, to have automatic data from where you can start building as well. Every company has data that comes from their invoicing. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of rolling up your sleeve and jumping into it, organizing, and then start rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brazil has this habit of, okay, this is the new hype. Let's find out the best in town. The very
and we're gonna do it right away.
Okay, you can go from here to there with a Volkswagen. You don't have to be a Porsche.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and before driving a Porsche, you need to drive it. Started with a Volkswagen, then you move a little bit higher and so forth. It's a step-by-step process. What is important though, um, and that's the biggest difference within what you can do with data and data analytics versus, some technological components like an ERP, for example. Um, the beauty is that with data analytics, you can start generating value in the short term without much investment. And that value that you generate is the one that it will be supporting, your digital transformation.
Which are Decision Point's competitors? Is there a scene here with this sort of service you're providing, or you are coming to establish a market? You mentioned other companies that are always operate here.
I have to say that I don't want to sound arrogant, but I've been competing in RFPs with companies like McKinsey, with companies like Accenture, large consulting and technological firms are really embracing, digital transformation and advanced analytics as part of their portfolio. And that is a matter of fact. I mean, I wouldn't say that a small startup is our competitor, because we are really coming at with proven solutions, proven track record with clients, with lots of investment. We define ourselves as a think tank, in a sense that we work with our clients in their digital transformation. It's not just one product or one project, the one that we're bringing. Now, the biggest difference, though, within a McKinsey or Accenture is that McKinsey is a consultant company that embraces digital transformation or advanced analytics. Accenture is a technological company that is embracing advanced analytics. We were born as an advanced analytics organization. We were born as we're naturally, I would say, naturally embodied into advanced analytics. As a matter of fact, for instance, we're technologically, what's the word that I want to use? Agnostic. It doesn't matter if my client is in Amazon or Microsoft or Google or when they're talking about visualization, it could be visual, it could be, Power BI. We always adopt the technology that our client is working with to generate the solutions for our clients.
You paint a good picture of the market here, the opportunities. Is there any particular sector where you see there are more in need of these solutions right away? Is there any blue ocean here for you to explore?
Well, our expertise is basically in FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods, and retail. That's the industry that I know the most, not only because of Decision Point, but also because of my background.
Your previous,
and it is evident the space that you have, in those organizations. Having said that, there are other sectors that really call my attention. The automotive sector. With Ford in Mexico, we did some amazing stuff on digital, and with the size of the automotive sector in Brazil, I'm pretty sure that more than something could be done, not only from a commercial perspective, but even from the Internet of Things. Few things that we've been doing with Honda in India, with BMW in the States. Internet of Things is something that is coming very, I shouldn't say handy, but of a tremendous value, for companies. I I'm not in a position to say which sector in Brazil. There are some sectors that I'm biased towards. Pharma, for example. Uh, Everything that relates to personal care. Those are sectors highly attractive, highly competitive. Um,
Where pricing is very
yeah, where
important,
pricing
of
is
course.
becoming, yeah, exactly, exactly.
And what are the main objectives for Decision Point in the next few years in terms of Latin America
Okay,
action?
three major areas that we're focusing. The first and most important, to sustain and keep our growth path, with our current clients and keep learning from our clients and expanding and generating value. So that's the first one. As I initially stated, Brazil is the third stage in our incursion in Latin America. So a lot of energy is going to be placed, to support our entry into Brazilian market, both in terms of not only talent, but also in terms of coming with solutions that are specifically designed, for the Brazilian market.
Mhm.
And third, um, there is a huge opportunity um, to build Latin America as a sort of hub services for the states. We're in the same hour range. Um, as I said, there is talent in this part of the world, and talent that is half the price that you could see in the states. So we're exploring, some areas there. Actually, we are already in a process of recruitment for a large technological company in the States, in where services will be provided, as an offshore
From Latin America.
From Chile and Mexico.
Mhm.
I would say those are the three key areas in where we're going to be focusing for the coming few years.
That's nice because there are a lot to do around here, and especially in Brazil, because uh, as we've been talking, there is a lot of digitalization. There is a lot of internet consumption. There are hundreds among us amount of data generated, but
Right.
they're not consolidated.
And as I said, there is a huge amount of talent as well.
Uh-huh.
The rest of the world doesn't have a picture of the talent that this part of the world has. There is talent. There is young generation, not only young generations. I mean, I've been all over the world in my work, and I always cross with Brazilian successful managers, VPs, Argentinian, Mexicans. We have somehow touched the rest of the world with our export of talent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a dreamer, and in a sense, I'm pretty sure that Latin America can become, it has the potential, to be a source of solutions, for the rest of the world when we're talking about digital transformation. Not only the States. We are already working for a client that it's in Latin America, but with operations worldwide, and we're just starting doing a work for them in Spain as well.
Mm. You have also offices in London.
We have offices in Delhi, Chennai, Santiago, Sao Paulo. We're in the process of Mexico, Chicago. What we have in London is a representative office, which is that, a representative office. What we have in those other cities that I just mentioned, it's an actually
Office.
organization
Mhm.
with people working on project and so forth. Yeah.
What about Dubai?
Same thing with Dubai. Actually, we closed Dubai.
Oh.
We're in the process of closing Dubai
Mhm.
because we're putting much of the effort in the States. So in the state, we operate in Atlanta, we're operating in Chicago, and there is only one direction, which is keep growing.
And it's very interesting that your very, worldwide experience. Um, Brazilians have very little knowledge of what happens, what goes on in India, for instance, despite the BRICS and all this
Mhm.
attempt of putting all these
Yeah.
countries together. But we know so little about that. What can you tell us about how it is to deal with a company that has at
Mhm.
least partners, Indian partners? And is there any sort of adaptation that you had to go uh, to deal with this
Um,
different culture?
it's let me start by saying that we share the same set of values.
Mhm.
Family, honesty, being the best, delivered as per expectations, make things happen. Those are key component of our values as an organization. Now, key differences. Um, if I'm coming to a meeting in Latam, um, we spend the first 5-10 minutes talking about football, family, yesterday, whatever that happened yesterday. Um, while India is much delivery driven, you know, um, but decision point is becoming more and more Latin in a sense. I mean, a lot of Indians come over here. We
Mhm.
go over there. We're building this hybrid organization, which is a word organization. And it's very easy for Indians, to capture the essence of a Latin. Um, we're very driven by forms. I mean, as important as the actual delivery of something is the package, right?
Mhm.
For Indians, it's not as relevant. Uh, uh, but as I said, those are differences that it can be managed. Um, uh, we do have programs for immersion in culture for both ends. I wouldn't say that there are much differences. It's differences that are differences that are perfectly managed. I mean, put 10 Indians to discuss. It can be a nightmare. I worked in India for a few years.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
In Delhi?
yeah, in Delhi. But one of the best years of my professional life happened in India, working with Indians. It's it's diversity is what makes everything even more fun than uh, yeah, makes everything more fun, more tasteful.
Mhm.
You have to focus in the similarities and not the differences. You need to laugh on your differences. You need to accept the differences and learn from each other. So I wouldn't say that it's been an issue. Um, it's been a journey in where we're merging this culture.
I mean, this is ESG in the practical, right?
Yeah,
Because we spend a lot of time talking about, well, you have to exercise diversity in companies. Well, when you have people from different countries living together and decision making
yeah.
together, it is very easier to understand the benefits of
diversity.
diversity.
Exactly. We're a diverse company, not only in that perspective. Uh, yeah, we're a young company. I mean, I always said instead of being a Gauss-shaped organization, it's a chi-squared sort of organization, basically because of my age. But there are some other talent I've been bringing, especially in Latin America, some talent with 15, 20 years of experience. Actually, for Brazil, we're bringing a professional with 20 years of experience in business, not necessarily in analytics. Because we talk business and what we do are solutions for business.
Now, this is a tool, right?
Yeah,
Technology,
that's
it's
right.
a tool.
That's right. So, yeah, it's women leadership is highly relevant for us. Uh, we don't have quotas, but obviously we're always looking for ways, to facilitate growth, even for mothers. There is talent within the organization that has become mom. We do respect that, and we don't want motherhood to be a barrier, for your growth as professional. So there are always areas in where you can provide or look for a better fit for you, your role as a mom, and so forth. So it's a fun company in that sense. I'm really enjoying more than ever, working with young talent and young kids and figuring out ways to grow, to expand, and as I said, to have fun as in the process.
Yeah, that's very nice. Uh, do you think because Latin America, I mean, Mexico especially, and Brazil, certainly, we have been to rough times in terms of economics and up and down, more evaluated money or less.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is a good experience laboratory for making decisions based on possible outcomes?
Definitely yes. Um, when you deal in uncertainty, obviously decision making, becomes a little bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you can navigate in this part of the world, um, and you can navigate everywhere. I mean, just calling Sinatra into the table. Uh, but there is an advantage though in Mexico, and here I'm going to compare Mexico and Brazil with Chile, for example. You have such a tremendous engine power that even with the policy or government or whatsoever issue that you may have, uh, there is enough skill that you can still, drive a process. Well, in small countries like my country, in where you don't have that skill, you don't have that power, you blew it or your government blew it in certain direction, it really kills, you know,
The
everything,
activity. Uh-huh.
the activity. Um, I came to Brazil, I think since I was a teenager, I have come to Brazil. Spent my first Carnival de Rio in Itajaí when I was 21 or 23 years ago. I don't know how many years ago. But I've been, because of my work, I've been in and out of Brazil for all of these years. And it really amazed me. It's, uh, in a good way, I always say, it's such a huge animal, Brazil. It has such a tremendous engine, torque. I don't know if the word is the talk of a country like Brazil, and it's the same thing with Mexico. So that is an advantage. Countries like my country, we don't have torque. We just need speed. um, uh, but as you initially said, is it the realities of this part of the world? Does it make better professional? I would say, well, at least it gives you enough material to become an even better professional. Whether you take it or not in the right direction, that's another story.
We heard that Brazilian executives are currently in value, in high,
Appreciation.
yes, because of this capacity of adapting all the time, and there is a lot of happening, and there's a lot of change all the time. What sometimes we Brazilians feel like, oh my God, it's changing again. But for other, for
Right.
less unprecedented
Right.
places, this is good because okay, you can adapt to
You
because
cannot
this
act
is
fast. It's
faster.
you are accustomed to cope with uncertainty.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, you are right on there. That's why the appreciation of Latin managers all over the place. I mean, I live in Asia for many years, and different companies that I met there were always Latinos. In those different companies.
Besides India, you had in other Asian countries?
Thailand.
Thailand.
I was head of commercial and customers for Southeast Asia.
Mhm.
That includes 13 countries, 13 fun countries, and completely different: Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Papua New Guinea, Cambodia. Uh, yeah, nice part of the world.
And they are Cambodia. It's like being the new Cambodia, or is it Vietnam?
Vietnam,
Vietnam.
Vietnam, Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Vietnam is they suffered for so many years, and yeah, within Southeast Asia, they're coming with such a tremendous energy. They want to conquer the world. That's the hunger that you feel on the Vietnamese. While Thais are Buddhist, and their Buddhism that Thailand practices, it's amazing. It's a lovely sort of Buddhism, and where everything for them, goes at a different pace, smoother family values and things, and yeah, the diversity that you could find in Southeast Asia is just amazing.
Nice. And we were talking about machine learning, and now the biggest hype of all in every business conversation is AI, of course. But people here has this impression that AI is ChatGPT, right? We're saying, okay, it's you ask something and it answers generalities.
Yeah.
It's a substitute for the Wikipedia or encyclopedia from our time. How artificial intelligence integrates or helps or being more helpful to your business now?
That's a good question, because there tends to be always a confusion within machine learning, artificial intelligence, what is what and what it does. I'm not a technical guy, so I always come with non-technical examples. Machine learning is how your algorithm learns, to be more effective. Algorithms that are predictive, you keep feeding them from story. So they predict A. The story said it was A minus something or plus something. The algorithm incorporates, you know, what we call it that we refresh the model. That's machine learning.
Mm-hmm.
Artificial intelligence, it's the way your solutions, which could be, as you rightly said, language, but it also could be visual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every client that I visit in this week, the entry for their building, they have these cameras. They take you a picture, you know, and then it
Facial
recognize,
recognition. Uh-huh.
facial recognition. Well, facial recognition has been around for lots of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But artificial intelligence has allowed them, to be much more effective in terms of really replicating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And same thing happened with language. AI narrative has been from the 50s around. Technology allows you, to be much more effective in the usage of that recognition of certain patterns. Um, yeah, and if you call intelligence the identification of patterns, to replicate them, well, we're talking about artificial intelligence. To me, it's still not intelligence. I put intelligence in a different perspective, but um, the way it's helping us in our solutions for our clients. I already referred to machine learning, so becoming with even better and better solutions. AI, narrative AI, really, really helps on user adoption. Whenever I'm developing an algorithm to predict something or whatsoever, I need to visualize the results, right? I need something where I can go read and see what is the implication or what is the solution or what is the outcome of the what if that I have fit into the system. The traditional way is a dashboard, which is rigid, which is takes time, which is uh, the same for everyone, which doesn't come with insights. Narrative AI, it really helps you, you know, um, to talk in a natural language, whether written or oral. But then it recognizes who the user is and what are the standard questions or analysis or the type of request that the professional is asking from the solution or the algorithm. So that learning helps to be even more effective and coming with more stuff than the one that the user was requesting. So in that sense, it really helps to accelerate in an exponential basis. And we have seen this.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen this. I mean, always when we're coming with digital transformation, the change in people, the adoption takes time. People always come with their okay, I'm coming to a result. Let me go to my Excel and see if my Excel is telling me the same thing. But when you start coming in real time, and where the solution is coming with insights that you didn't even question yourselves about it, you know, it accelerates. We measure this in terms of people, uh, what percentage or not what percentage, number of people that is going through the dashboards that we created for whatever solution. When we have dashboards that are built um, or using narrative AI, I multiply by a minimum of 10. Not only the frequency, but also the number of users. So it's really amazing. It's really amazing.
Well, and it is just the beginning, right?
Yeah, it is just the beginning.
We're going very, very far.
Yeah.
I've seen the other day a demonstration about the new generation of ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
and they were actually talking with the agent, and at some point, she looked at the face of the guy presenting and said, "Oh, you look happy. Why?" And he answered her that he was happy because he was making a presentation and telling that ChatGPT was having a huge upgrade, and they were very proud. And the agent answered, "Oh, stop! You're making me blush."
You know, the yeah, and the ChatGPT is just the surface.
The surface, yeah.
Right? Because actually, in order to get that or to come with that, you need an algorithm which has nothing to do with ChatGPT that can recognize the facial happiness, being sorrow, or so forth. In our cases, you need an algorithm that can generate insights based on promo analytics or whatsoever. You need to fit that chat GPT with predictive models or prescriptive models. The chat GPT is just the surface. Is the cherry of the cake.
And there's a lot to integrate and lots to
Right.
feed the
Exactly.
data.
Exactly. You can feed it with algorithm. You can feed it with data which has not been processed. But at the end of the day, what the ChatGPT is going to be doing is be replicating whatever source or whatever engine that has behind.
That's great. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Look forward our success and contribution to resilient companies. And as I said, very optimistic on what the future declares for us here in Brazil.
Investimento anjo de investimento em tecnologia especializada.
Empreendedor e linear, investidor mão na massa. Economia do cenário do investimento anjo.